Okay, so you've all seen the title of the video, the thumbnail. Dabi is insane, right? And the thing that this video is going to serve the purpose of doing, essentially, is me going over Dabi, how I feel about the character, and maybe taking a bit of deeper dive into his character in my eyes. Now, one of the first, I guess you could say, misconceptions, maybe, about Dabi is that he's super overpowered when it comes to his quirk, and that's definitely not true from what we've seen of Dabi and how Geddon was essentially perceiving him, which was, he was burning his skin. I forgot if it was Geddon or Hawks who was doing that, but I'm pretty sure it was Geddon. It was like, you're burning your skin or stuff because his body can't handle his quirk, essentially. And I know, like, in the war arc, he was essentially holding off Nejire Todoroki, I'm pretty sure, and some of the other pro heroes, but I think the battle definitely would have took a turn if he didn't have the backup of Gigantomachia, and if Endeavor was in the right mind. Because if you sit here and ask me who wins in a fight, Endeavor or Toya Dabi, that's pretty simple, that's pretty easy. Who wins? Endeavor wins simply because he knows how to use his quirk better and it doesn't affect his body as much as it affects Dabi. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure in the Ultra Analysis book, it even stated that Dabi in power wasn't that good, but he more excelled when it comes to the League of Villains in elusiveness and mystery because we didn't know his identity, though, we all had theories on who Dabi was because it was kind of obvious. Now, of course, not everything in any story is about power, and it's about the character, how they are, their personality. So that's where we go to the title, Dabi is Insane, and where that came from in my mind is because that's how I view the character of Dabi. I don't view him as this broken child who was broken by Endeavor, at least on the same scale as Todoroki. I view him as a kid who was insane and was always destined to go insane. The reason I have this view of him is because of how he was portrayed as a kid. Now, we saw that Endeavor didn't really abuse his kid. You can say that he abused him, but it didn't really show him abusing him in the way that he abused Todoroki, right? We didn't see him physically, mentally abusing Toya. You could say that he was physically abusing him, but when we saw him training, or at least wanting to train with Endeavor, he seemed very eager and not like he was being hurt, at least by Endeavor. But like I said in my video, Why I Love Endeavor, it's debatable, in the other part, whether you think that him telling Toya to stop training, to stop trying to be a successor, was because he cared about him, or because he was saying to him, you can no longer do this, I have a new heir. I personally think that that's because he cared about his son Toya, but like I said, it's debatable. The other part of Dabi's backstory that I loved getting to see was those little bits of insanity, right? The expression on his face when he said, I'm your son, Endeavor. Him trying to kill his own brother, Todoroki, while he was a baby, which isn't something that a normal, sane child would do. Then there's, him going out to train in the woods when Endeavor didn't come to see him and quote-unquote dying. Now, with that, I think that came as a surprise to us because a lot of people assumed that he died in the Public Safety Commission, which Endeavor forced him to join or at least pushed it on him because, he knew Hawks' real name, which isn't something that everybody else knew, right? So, how he knew his name, whether he was in the Public Safety Commission or whatever, that hasn't been revealed yet. I'd say he probably wasn't at this point because I feel like if he was, Hawks would have noticed that quirk and would have been like, hey, it's kind of like Endeavor's, especially because he admired Endeavor so much. I feel like he definitely compare him to Endeavor with the whole fire quirk. But back on the topic of the video, these reasons are the reason why I don't view Dabi as this broken child that was abused by Endeavor, because I don't think he was really abused by Endeavor. Now, you can make the argument that him building him up to be this hero, to be the one that would take All Might's place, and then saying, you are not the one, I have a new person, that could be abuse of the mental kind. You could definitely make that argument, but even, taking all that out, there's him now, him trying to kill Todoroki in the war arc, just because it would get to Endeavor. That's the only reason that he did that. But with this, I think that we can all agree that Dabi is insane. He's not a broken child in the same terms as Todoroki, who was way more messed up than him. He is just insane. And that's what I love about his character. I love villains, personally. I love so many villains. Villains are my favorite part of a story. I think that they're the best. It's why Toboro Shigaraki is one of my favorite villains in My Hero Academia and just in general, right next to Junko Onishima from Danganronpa, because I love her mindset. But with all of that, I think that's going to be the end of the video. It was never going to be one of those longer videos. It was just me going on a little rant. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.